First of all, welcome to Australia.
Thank you, Tony.
Can I ask you, how many times have you been in space?
3 times. 3 times.
Which were the missions?
Went on Gemini 8 in 1966, Apollo 9 in 1969, and Apollo 15 in 1971.
If my memory serves me correctly, you flew with Neil Armstrong.
So Gemini 8, that's correct, yeah.
There was something about a stuck thruster. Could you tell us that story and what happened?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we had a thruster on the spacecraft that fired intermittently because the power got to it when it wasn't supposed to, and it put us in a tumble
Right.
that we had to recover from.
Was it dangerous or?
At the time, it was dangerous, but Neil's a great pilot, and we recovered, and we had to come down early, but everything worked just right.
Is that why the first astronauts were test pilots, for the things that you're still learning about the missions?
Yes, exactly.
Understand. Commander of Apollo 15, your turn to work on the moon. How many times have you been asked this question? What was it like?
Yeah, it's pretty spectacular. I mean, when you study a place for as long as we studied it, the moon and a particular site, it's like going to a very familiar camping ground. You've been waiting to go there for a long time,
Yeah.
and it's really beautiful.
So when you finally come back to Earth, you go home, you talk to your wife over dinner, and she says, well, what was it like being on the moon?
Well,
It must be hard.
Well, she shared it with me, because we worked on it. I worked on it a long time before I went, and with the television, everybody got to watch it, so it was a nice thing to be able to share.
Right. Was she able to talk to you while you were flying?
No, we pretty much the business when that's going on.
Understood. So busy.
Yeah.
Right. Without getting too technical, what were some of the goals of Apollo 15?
Well, the primary goal was to understand the formation of the moon and the area in which we landed, which could help us understand how the whole moon was formed, and that in turn helps us understand about the Earth. And the more we know about the Earth, the better we can take care of it.
So it sounds to me like it was a purely scientific mission, where the missions beforehand were more testing the gear to make sure that everything was right for the longer stays.
Yes, that's exactly right. In fact, they called us the first extended scientific exploration of the moon.
Is that why one of your spacecraft was called Endeavour? Scientific mission.
Very good.
You can see I've done my research.
Absolutely. Yes, we picked Captain Cook as our model. He was our role model in a sense, and we decided to name the spacecraft Endeavour.
That's great. You're one of only 12 men in history to walk on the moon. Do you keep in contact with the other astronauts?
No, not very often, because we all have new careers now, and we go our separate ways. We do see each other once in a while. The 25th anniversary of Apollo 11, everybody got together for a brief time.
Yeah, we saw that on the news.
Yeah.
President Clinton brought you back together.
Yeah, he brought us back together.
Yeah, all except for Jim. I understand he's passed away.
Yeah, Jim passed away 3 years ago, but doing what he loved to do, and he had a full and happy life.
I was going to say that. He lived life to the fullest.
Yes, he did.
Right. A lot of people say about astronauts being a tight bunch. Obviously, when you're flying missions, families got together to help support each other.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Who are your best friends in the mission?
That's interesting. Well, the guys I flew with were all good friends. Neil was a very good friend. And I flew with Jim McDivitt and Rusty Schweikert, and they were very good friends. Mike Collins was a good friend. He lived only 2 doors down from me. And Alan Bean was a good friend. Dick Gordon was a good friend.
Have you got any of Alan's paintings?
No, I don't. He's pretty prominent right now. Haven't been able to afford him.
I understand. Now you run, since your Apollo days, you run Scott Science and Technology. Must be a hell of a job.
Not really. It's a challenge. It's something new and it's exciting. And we get into fun, interesting things. And it's a way to keep involved.
And it gets you to help promote space and use the knowledge that you learnt during the Apollo era.
Whole idea is to take what we learned during Apollo and apply it to commercial projects.
Do you think we'll ever reach Gene Roddenberry's dream in Star Trek, where all the nations of the Earth will work together as a team to go and explore space?
Yes, I think definitely. And I think that's the only way to do it. And I think we're getting there. The space station will be international, and I'm sure there are going to be other international projects.
It seems to me to be the only way that they can really finance a big operation like Freedom.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Understood. From a personal point of view, just want to ask your thoughts on spaceflight. When Apollo was flying, everybody's imagination was really captured. They were glued to the television sets, and now it almost seems boring, or I can't seem to find the right words. It's hard to capture people's imaginations, ordinary people, about what we're doing in space. What are your thoughts on that? How can we go about that?
I think that's only to be expected. It's natural. I think what really stirred people's imagination during Apollo were that human beings were actually on another planet. That's really exciting for everybody, and with a television, you can sort of vicariously explore the other planet. I think we have to do something like that in the future. Maybe we have artificially intelligent robots who are like human beings. That might stimulate a lot of with eyes,
Right, so you can actually see
so you
what's
can see what they're seeing, that kind of thing.
kind of like virtual reality.
Yeah, like virtual reality, but real reality.
But the things we're learning on the space shuttle is dynamite stuff, but it just doesn't seem to be, the medical breakthroughs and things like that. It just doesn't seem to capture people's imaginations on how it's going to help life on Earth.
Yeah, and I think that's to be expected. I mean, I'm not surprised by that. You can only have so many punchlines, right? And I think you have to have something that's really different and dramatic to grab everybody's attention. At the same time, people have to understand that this is progress. It's a normal sort of march of technology that needs to be supported.
You're in Australia for space. What's your role?
Australian Space Development Conference during this National Space Awareness Week, and I was fortunate enough to get an invitation to come down.
Great.
I've been to Australia 3 times before, and I've loved every minute, so whenever I get a chance, I head south.
How do you see Australia's role in space?
Well, I think you have a great 5-year plan, and I hope that it would continue and that the people would support it, the people in the government would support it, because I think Australia has an opportunity to have a real visible and strong position in space, commercial space in particular, but something that would bring a lot of national pride, because you certainly have the people, the talents here. You know how to build airplanes very well, build spacecraft, and you have some resources in terms of your location relative to the equator that other countries don't have. So I would hope Australia would put all that together and get prominent.
And see if we can help out with freedom and things like that.
Sure, you can make a real contribution.
That's great. Welcome to Australia again. Thanks for talking to us.
Tony, you're quite welcome. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Good night.